got to feel worlds apart, I'm sure, imagining your experience facing Hunter Green when he pumps 98 past you 3 straight times.
Yeah, you know, coming into high school ball, you definitely don't
This
realize...
was your freshman year?
This was my freshman... That was the only year we were in school together.
Okay.
He's actually in the big leagues now,
right.
which is just insane to even think about. But seeing how packed the stands...
So far today, he's 0 for 3 with 3 Ks.
And you felt the wind from that swing and a miss there. And the first pitch change up from Orem, and gets another swing and a miss. And he can't help but smile on the mound as he knows he's beaten Stone 3 times already today. Working quickly, looking to give him the golden sombrero, and gets the strike 3. Yells over to the opposing dugout, showing him the business. Camden Orem, 8 innings, 2 runs. Linfield on top by 1. They're providing a quality pace to this one so far as Holmes swings at the first pitch there, drives it deep out to left center field. Sangalang looking up, and now... Here he is, the guy we've been talking about, the starting shortstop for the Bruins, Noah Meffert, coming in with an insane clip so far on the year, hitting .440, that on-base percentage up over 500, 2 home runs already on the year. That is tied for his career high on a season, 19 RBIs to his total as well. Chops this one to third, where we see Jake Hoskins for the first time. Throws this one as Nick Holm steps on the backside of the base, but gets the out for out number 2. These pitchers are providing a quality pace to this one so far as Holm swings at the first pitch there, drives it deep out to left center field. Sangalang looking up, and that one's going to be a home run. Nick Holm getting himself on the board, getting the Wildcats a 1-0 lead as he strolls around the bases, and the Wildcats strike first here in game number 1.
To change that here. Threatens the bunt. It's going to fall down 1-2.
And I can't tell you, Johnny, the last time I saw a guy standing 6'7" attempted to lay down a drag bunt.
With 2 outs as well.
With 2 outs.
Takes the swing and miss.
And that's why right there. Utility spots for these guys, but in those 2 years, he averaged a .350 batting average since 2021. He's got 5 total home runs in that span with 46 stolen bases.
Just incredible numbers, and he's averaging almost a 400 this year.
Yep, will be going down in the George Fox record books, I'm sure, as he slaps that one right back off Cam Orem, who just feels disrespected by that play. Really was just yelling at the ball as he picked that one up nonchalantly, threw that one over to first, says, "Get the ball away from me." Sends it back to the bottom of the 7th. Wildcats rooting for this one as Miller sneaks one right up the middle as Danny Kahn gave it a good sliding attempt, but, you know, we've talked about the injury history with him. You can't give it the full extension dive there, so sneaks just up the middle. And, man, we almost saw Camden Orem do it again. Daniel Turpin coming out here. He's going to pull the string and go to Brian Mannion now with 2 outs here in the 9th. So Orem going to be taken off the mound here. I'm sure he'll get a standing ovation from our Wildcat home fans as an extremely valiant effort through 8 2/3. Going to give the last out to Brian Mannion. And we'll take a break as he gets warm, and we'll be right back with your final. Here to give you your Farnham Electric post-game report. And to start it off, Johnny, of course, we got to do our segment, our Cascade Brewing Toast of the Game, and who other to give it to today than our starting pitcher, Camden Orem, who pretty much threw his arm off today, Johnny. In an age where we are seeing so many guys go down with arm injuries, you know, it's scary when you see guys get over that century mark. But today, 8.2 innings with over 120 pitches, a stellar performance from Orem.
Yeah, 120.
On the campus of Linfield University in beautiful McMinnville, Oregon, where we're getting ready for some Tuesday night baseball between the Lewis and Clark College Pioneers and your Linfield University Wildcats. Joe Stewart and Connor Nelson with you on the call today. Their 3rd win in the last 5 games and make it 4 out of the last 6 today.
Coming off the winning series against the crosstown rivals and 2 great outings from the starters, and now today in some midweek action that frees up the bullpen to be able to work freely here. Coach Spencer has a lot of different options he can turn to at any different point of the game. Got all 3 lefties waiting on deck. in the bullpen, and he's got senior relief pitcher Logan Travis coming out for the start.
Improved out of the bullpen.
Yeah, and that was the expectation coming into this year. A lot of fresh arms with good stuff coming out of the pen, lefties and righties. Coach Spence, coming into the year, wanted these guys to be the focal point of the team. He's a big pitching and defense guy. So, after this last weekend, I'll say the vibe around the team was, they were kind of just able to take a breath of fresh air and, settle in. First series win, and then you take a look at the standings, and they're like, okay, we can still do this. We're not out of it by any means. Everybody's still in it. A lot of guys were talking about how it's like some of the earlier years we were here in the last 4 years. So big expectations coming in to the rest of the season now, but I think they're refocused and they got their sights set on what they need to do coming up.
Yeah, and it won't be Saturday for an inning. And clearly going to pennant the rest of the way. Tal Jones is just making his 5th appearance. This is really a see what you got outing right now. Just 2 1/3 innings so far for the Redlands product.
Yeah, and you've seen the opener, the throw a guy for an inning and then let your bulk guy go, become a lot more popular in Major League Baseball, and sometimes I remember Dodgers broadcaster Oral Hershiser talking about it with Julio Urias back in the day. He just really struggled in the first inning, and when they were bringing him up, they would just have an opener go for the first inning for whatever, and Urias had way less nerves coming out of the bullpen, so maybe the same kind of magic Lewis and Clark trying to work in here for Jones, but
well, I'm not sure about that looking at his season numbers. That's generous.
Maybe. But, it also might have just been a conversation between Pearson and the head coach to get some live work in instead of, your normal midweek bullpen going in to your next season. Maybe he had something he wanted to work on against some live batters instead of in the bullpen.
If there's anybody in this bullpen looking for redemption and a good outing today, it's Jed Jaco.
And Jaco's a guy who has the stuff to be a high-leverage arm in this pen for Dan Spencer, and with some injuries early in the year to guys like Nick Alder, who we were expecting to see at the back end of games, Coach Spence needs some more guys to rely on. Brian Mannion has stepped up, tallied those 2 saves in the last weekend, and has been a dependable strikeout guy out of the bullpen. And Jet Jaco has a high-velocity fastball. He'll sit in the mid-8s, and he'll run it up to the high 8s, and he's got a good over-the-top curveball that has been the pitch that's developed for him over the years that he really needs to lock in with. And if he can start throwing that secondary pitch for strikes, he's going to be trouble, and the Northwest Conference won't even know about it. Notre Dame High School produces a lot of good ball players.
In the dirt, Joner keeps it in front, and Steinhaus scurries back.
Yeah, Brian Keiss mentions Hunter Green. Got to know him my freshman year in the box. Saw 3 straight 90-mile-an-hour fastballs and went packing. So that was my fall experience, freshman year of high school
All I know
baseball.
is I can't hit him. You got to feel worlds apart, I'm sure, imagining your experience facing Hunter Green when he pumps 98 past you 3 straight times.
Yeah, coming into high school ball, you definitely don't
This
realize.
was your freshman year?
This is my freshman. That was the only year we were in school together.
Okay.
He's actually in the big leagues now,
Right.
which is just insane to even think about. But seeing how packed the stands would get of scouts and just random viewers just to see this guy play. And, he's just a pitcher now, but a lot of people don't know how smooth he was at shortstop. One of the easiest, displays of athleticism I've ever seen out of that guy, and could, obviously with the 103 miles an hour make throws from anywhere on the diamond. Just some crazy 5-6 backhand plays out of that guy.
Due up for Linfield.
Yeah, and looks like Lewis and Clark still trying to find the perfect spot for Hodina, as his outings have just been getting shorter and shorter over the year. Started with 6 innings down at Pomona Pitzer and has gone 5.2, 4.2, and then sub 3 innings for all the appearances after that. Through 2 innings against Linfield in their opening series. Didn't allow a run, had 2 walks and a strikeout, but the walks have been the killer for him so far, and hasn't even really came back to bite him too badly. We mentioned the 3.27 ERA, but in 22 innings, allowed 18 walks to just 11 strikeouts. So the freshman seems to have some good stuff. We'll see if he's able to reel it in here today against the Wildcats like he did in the last outing against them. Kovac coming back in after that dirty backdoor slider he finished off the last inning with. Got the looking K. There it is again. Right on cue.
As he gets a big swing and miss by Gamache, 1-2.
And there is that slider that was you know, we talk about guys with big fastballs being able to use that in the right situations, but Kovac, when he was still over the top, was still trying to find the consistency with his breaking pitches, and was one of the reasons why he wasn't able to get on the mound more, because he wasn't as consistent with the command. And that slider is taking on a whole new life here with the new slot he finished off the last inning with, and any righty's going to think that pitch is coming right for their meal takers, but slides right back into the inside half, still a ball.
Called strike 3. Kovac strikes out the side. 4th of the outing.
Giving the little McGregor strut off the mound.
And got to be excited. 1-1. Breaking ball again and sends Mar to a knee with the 1-2 now.
Big swing and a miss there. Thought my eyes deceived me there. I could have sworn he hit that ball.
1-2. What's on your mind here, Connor?
1-2. What's on my mind is that 20-foot breaker that I just saw twice. So hopefully T-Mar's got a better approach than me, because I would be blended for sure at the dish right now. 6 curveball that kind of stays on the same exact plane as his arm slot and that fastball. And, you know, to hitters, it looks like a fastball that's probably going to miss up, and before you can even blink, it just drops right down to your knees.
Any closing thoughts today, Connor?
Nope, just hoping the Wildcats can continue on this streak. It's the right time of the year to get hot, and hopefully the guys can keep carrying it over. And, you know, one thing you didn't mention, you said the last home series, which was good, because you can't forget about that last game of the Northwest Conference schedule set to go against Pacific. So maybe big implications on that game. So got to keep your calendars marked for that one.